She is a financial planner and advisor.
She's the founder and president of Zinnia Wealth Management. It's also a popular radio show.
There's a way to have your money in the market and have protected growth.
This holistic approach will help people get to and through retirement.
Absolutely.
You have to change the way that you think. It's not about having these double-digit returns anymore. Things are changing, and you have to have an advisor that's keeping up with the changes.
Your outcome is going to become very desirable if you have some sort of coach helping you along the way.
And our next recipient from the Media and Communications XP, Charisse
Rivers.
Do not have to risk all your money in the market to survive, because it's about the retirement dream.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in to But this is basically a place for you to have questions and answers as we're going through retirement and trying to get to retirement and dealing with all this unknown and COVID-19, and kind of give you some awareness of what we're seeing moving forward, what Zinnia is doing moving forward, our partners. And so we're going to start out with the market update, then kind of educate you, and then who's doing good in our area, what's going on there, and then we'll close it out with lots of questions and answers. We're going to be here every Thursday at 3:30 live. So no hecklers, pretty please. I am your host, Charisse Rivers, and I am the owner, CEO, and founder of Zinnia Wealth Management. I am also the financial strategist. So just to get to know me a little bit better, and if this is the first time you've ever tuned in to Retirement Coffee Talk and Zinnia Wealth Management, and this is the first time you've seen me, you can always tune in every Saturday and Sunday on 97.3 The Sky and or 99.9 FM. So, all right, so let's get started now that you guys know about the pregame. So markets, it was interesting. Today's Thursday, remember, and the close of the day here coming here. Markets, are down, which is, interesting because yesterday markets were sky high. So every day that we wake up, it's Groundhog Day. And the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and there's just a lot of noise. And we want this Facebook Live event to give you some ease, give you some ideas, some actionable steps that you can use moving forward, and so on and so forth. So I have a script. I'm going to basically be reading from it so I can stay on target, so I get really good at this. And we're just going to move forward from there. All right. So let's talk about what happened with Donald Trump this week. And I'm already on my wrong pages, so this is one of our glitches already. Aha, here we found it. So Donald Trump, he made a lot of noise this week. He's hoping, and he made a statement that we'd all be going back to school here at the end of before the end of the year. And basically I said that was hogwash, because there's no way I'm sending my child and both of my kids. I have two kids. I got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old. Back to school 1 month to go. I mean, talk about chaos. So I already knew that was going to happen, at least in our area. So, a lot of people who are tuning in today are from North and Central Florida. Anybody out of any other state, I'm not sure exactly what's going on over there. But our governor here, Governor DeSantis, he also stepped up and said, hey, we're going to have some easing of social distancing on Wednesday, which is really nice. So it's given people hope. That's what kind of drove the market on Wednesday. And he said, hey, we can go to a restaurant now. And they can, as long as they're sitting 6 feet apart, and they can fill up these restaurants 25% capacity. So that's pretty nice. We're not going to be able to go to live events and basketball games or anything like that just yet. But if you need a surgery, I recently had a surgery, and I can imagine, and I feel for anybody who had to go get a surgery and it got canceled, and you probably have been in a ton of pain or just holding off, but elective surgery is something that you're going to be able to go back and do, which is awesome. So we're open at hospitals or hiring doctors to come back on board. So that's a wonderful thing. The other thing that we see is Disney World says they're going to be possibly opening soon. I'm not going to Disney. I don't know about you guys. That is a floodgate for, in my opinion,
diseases and viruses. So sounds great, but I have a feeling we're going to be tippy-toeing into opening the economy, which we should all expect, and doing it at a slow pace. So when we have this second run of the virus, it's not going to be so detrimental, right? So markets have moved up. Markets are down at the end of the day today. And let's talk about why. Jobless claims was higher than expected. It was about 3.8 million, and they expected about 3.5 million. That is a total of 30 million jobless claims since March 12th. That is huge. I can't imagine how in the world we're going to get all those people back to work, number one. But I do know something is Americans, we have hope, and we can drive our markets on hope. Here's the deal. Markets are going up, right? And they're looking pretty good. We're a little over halfway back up from the big dip we had in March. And so that's creating optimism. And every time they open up the easy and they do more and they do more and they do more people are going to take that cash and reinvest it back into the market, right? And so the moral of the story with that is that that's great and we're going to do that. But the economy and second quarter earnings aren't going to look too pretty, which is expected, right? Second quarter, it's going to hopefully look a little bit better than first quarter, but I think it's going to be a bomb. So we could probably see markets going down then. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm going to bring my crystal ball next week so you can see what it looks like. It's actually pretty cool. We'll see what it says. But I would say for sure, be patient. Do what your cities and states are telling you to do. Follow the guidance. Keep your groups to small groups. And wash your hands. And we'll just see where it all takes us. Because I do know one thing. Is that 6 weeks running our offices and our businesses and running our children at our homes and teaching our kids. We're now teachers, business owners, marketers. It's changing lives. It's given us a lot of great time and fun with our kids, and it's helping us, really kind of reevaluate life as it is and in general, and maybe moving forward. So I think moving forward, I think business is going to go back to the way it used to be. But here's interesting. I think with all these Zoom meetings and everything happening virtually, I think, a lot of businesses might even start downsizing and say, listen, people are working really well in their homes. And, we're going to downsize. Maybe we don't need as big as office spaces because people are actually more efficient in their homes. And of course, there's people out there that aren't, and they'll be the ones that will still work in the office. So we could see, a nice push in the market from those types of things. So thank God for all the virtual stuff we have. And I'm going to thank Mikey behind the scenes, kind of keeping me in track here. He's giving me the bobbly eyes, like maybe I'm talking too long. But I'm going to move forward here because it's important to, because I don't want to get laggard here too much. If you have questions as I'm going through this, feel free to ask them. It could be anything. So we kind of talked about the markets. Let's move forward a little bit and talk about real estate. We're going to talk about, this is the Educate. So I have Zinnia U. It's basically Zinnia U and how we educate people locally through our classes at the local universities and different places. And I encourage anybody who's listening and watching to also tune into those. We have classes all the time. We have a 20-minute class virtual. We have a 40-minute and a 60 minutes kind of stepping stones to get to the nuts and bolts of getting to retirement and through retirement. But my goal here is to educate you, number one, keep you informed and updated, and to inspire you and get you to retirement and beyond. So this could be for anybody that's watching today. Now, let's talk about the real estate market. We've heard a lot of noise. People aren't buying. There's been furloughs, and they're not closing homes like they once did. And so I am a little bit worried about the real estate market, number one. I just spoke to a client, and they said their son literally just called the company and said, hey, you know what? I don't have a job. I am collecting unemployment. And I called my mortgage company, and they said, hey, you don't have to make a payment for 91 days. But it was presumed that actually the next 3 months of payments will be added to the end of the mortgage, and that's not the case. So the people who are laid off, not working, or furloughed, how are you you're not going to pay your payments for 3 months, but then all of a sudden in 3 months, you're going to come up with $6,000 to $10,000 to pay your mortgage? Are you insane? This is not going to happen. I think if we go out 6 to 9 months from here, I think we could possibly see a lot of foreclosures because the average American, doesn't have 6 to 10 grand to pay off mortgages and rents and that kind of stuff. So I am very curious to see how the real estate market really winds down from all this. And, you know, these forbearances that the mortgages are offering are great, but it's just delaying the inevitable, right? So we're going to keep an eye out on that, and we'll keep you updated from what we see and what we're not seeing. And I just think, you know, now's the time to really consider, do I or don't I do something with that? Now, two of my most favorite people out there, Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. I want to talk about them because they're talking about, what do you do with credit cards? Credit cards right now, do I pay them off? Do I keep cash? What are our minimums? And so I'm just going to read from my little sheet here because I thought it was interesting, because Susie Orman, love her to death, says cash is gold. And I'm 100% on board with that. She says, put all your expenses on your credit cards, which makes incredible sense, because what if the market doesn't get back to where we want it? What if the economy doesn't just jump right get back into the normal mode? What if these 30 million people without jobs, let's say only 20 million get jobs, it's 10 million people still without jobs. You, I hope, are not going to the stores and buying clothes and wasting money. I hope you're saving money and looking forward, because the future is very uncertain at this time. So she says, cash is king, pay minimums on credit cards. She also says, put everything on your credit cards, everything. Normally, I'm 100% against that. Right now, if you have been furloughed or you've been unemployed, I absolutely recommend put everything on credit cards. Because if you had an emergency and if you could not get a job or you couldn't get back into the workforce and you're really bleeding money here, worst case scenario, this is not advice, good advice, but you just don't pay the credit card companies back, right? I mean, scary thought, scary that you would have to get to that point, but we still have cash left over because we didn't spend our cash moving forward. So we still have some money if you ever max out those cards. So that's why cash is king right now. It's very important. Now, Dave Ramsey, he says this. Anybody who follows Dave Ramsey, he talks about the snowball, effect. And the snowball effect is we just tackle that debt and we pay it, and we get excited, we get motivated about it, and we pay it all off. You all know, especially you baby boomers who are watching, who Dave Ramsey is and that snowball, because I know 75% of you have followed his strategy and it works. And he says, cover your basic needs. He says, pile up on cash too. So Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey are both saying, pile up on cash, pay off the minimum amount. He says the same thing until things return to normal. So again, they're both recommending put everything on credit cards, save your cash. And so my advice is this. You have to protect your four walls. You have to protect your home, the place you live in. You do not want to get kicked out of your home, right? So make sure you're trying to pay that bill on time as best as you can. Make sure you always have food on the table. Make sure you always have transportation. Pay that car payment, right? And utilities. We don't want the utilities going off. So those are the four, in my opinion, most important things that you have to certainly focus on right now, and leave the rest for later. And unfortunately, credit, people's credits are going to get hurt. And some of the credit card companies and the mortgage companies, there's some rules out there now that they have to follow, that they're not supposed to be reporting that you didn't make a payment for a certain reason if you're in forbearance. So that's kind of a nice thing. So your credit's a little protected. But remember, save that cash. I'm on board 100% with the cash. All right. Now, my next piece here is, let's just see. We're going to skip over that. Mikey, I don't know if we have any questions, but if we do have questions, I can't really see them popping up right now. Just let me know. Anybody have any questions about what we just talked about, debts? Should I pay off debts? Should I not pay off debts? Do I have high interest? And, where am I at there? If you receive that check from the government, you got $1,200, $2,400, should you be putting that back in the economy, helping small companies, or should you just be stockpiling that cash? And or real estate? There could be questions out there. Don't be bashful to ask these questions. Should I refinance my home now since interest rates are zero? And our secretary said, hey, we're going to keep it zero for, a year, maybe 2 years. Is this the time to buy a home? Prices are still high, but interest rates are, this is as good as it might get possibly. So if you have questions on that, ask them. That's what I'm here for. Oh,
somebody is looking to flip another house. So that means you possibly have cash, I'm assuming, and you want to go buy a house right now, put a couple of bucks into it, and then sell it for a profit. So here's the deal. Homes, the homes are very expensive right now. Unless you know how to shop the market and find the right deal. The first and foremost is, have you done this before? Would be my first question. If you can answer that, that'd be great for me. If you have done flipping before, which it sounds like you have, you got to look for the right buy. And people, I think in the next 3 to 6 months, I think we're gonna see some struggles. I think people might have 2 homes and they're paying 2 mortgages, and they might drop prices. So it just depends on the price, but it could be a very, very good time to flip a home. But here's the deal. When people aren't working and there's no jobs, there's not a whole lot of money. It's hard to get a mortgage. It's hard to get a loan. But what happens is, in this world of flipping homes, you have to transition very quickly to, what if I can't flip this home because people just don't have the money? You might have to change into a landlord and rent it. I personally had to do this one time where I was trying to sell 2 homes, and the market wasn't doing good, and I wanted a certain price, so I had to suck it up for a couple of years. I just rented it. I became the landlord, so I learned a couple of things along the way, and I personally don't like being a landlord, but if you can hold on to the home because you can't sell it, and you have the extra cash, and you still have cash left over in your bank thereafter, so this is kind of a cookie cutter answer and question, because I don't know how old you are, if you're 20, if you're in retirement, if you have a boatload of cash. So I hope some of these open-ended questions help, but I would say, if you have more questions, give me a call, send me an email. You guys can always go to zinniawealth.com, and I have the little red book to retirement there, and it's 37 pages. It's absolutely free. Put your information in there. If you have any questions, I'll do a phone call with you so I can help you answer those questions, because you want to be sure you know what you're doing. You want to get the right price, because I'm a financial advisor, remember? So my job is to advise you on every investment on the sun to the best of my ability. And I'm a huge fan of real estate. I can't make a return from my client like real estate can. So that's why we add real estate to our portfolios for a lot of our clients. And it's very valuable. So if you have the way, the know-how, you know how to get the contracts, you have the energy, you know what's going to cost, I'm a fan of it. But maybe wait and see what happens with housing. Let's see if anything goes down. I had a call from a client recently. Here's a great one. They have a really expensive sports car, and they owe, I don't know, somewhere around $18,000 on it. They paid $40,000, and literally they're selling this car because they want out of it. They don't want the payment. They don't want the headache, and they just want to get rid of it so they can free up some of that monthly income coming every month. And they're selling it for $25,000. Anybody could buy that from them and turn around and sell it for $35,000 really easy when the market goes up. So people are hungry to sell things. So shop the market. And I don't mean to be so long-winded on this answer, but I'm trying to get out as much as I can on this one. Okay, so if somebody has a decent amount of cash, where could they put it in a decent place for interest? So here's the thing. It would help me if you told me your age. So if you have questions like that and you're 20, I got a great answer. If you're 60, I got a great answer. If you're 80, I got a great answer. So maybe help me out with the age a little bit, but I'll kind of do an open-ended question. So we have some cash. Make sure, remember, cash is king. Cash is king right now. It's gold. So if you're not working and you're retired, then it's probably not an issue collecting Social Security. If you're one of my clients, you have an income plan, you're not worried about where your next paycheck is coming. So the question is, do you go to the bank and put your money in a CD? No, because banks, their interest rates are just astronomically low. I mean, maybe 2%. And if it's taxable money, that's money that is not in an IRA or 401k, 2% really goes to 1.5% because you get this lovely love letter at the end of the year called your 1099, and you got to pay taxes on it. So you're really only making 1.5. Yeah, no, stay away from the bank. But we love banks because it's safe. You got the FDIC insurance, cash. If you have enough and you can keep half at home and half somewhere else, you could buy a house. You could put it in the stock market. I mean, I don't know your age and your demographics, but should you be buying stock? I mean, the stock market is half price right now. Could the stock market keep going down? Yeah, of course it could. The stock market could tumble and as you know it, but there's so many unknowns we don't know. So it has to be a risk that you're willing to take on that money. So I hope you have some safe money also. And if it's cash in the bank you are living on right now that you have to live on, make sure you're keeping that cash to live on, and don't put it in the stock market because who knows how long you're going to need to live on it. So banks, you can go to bankrate.com. And if you're thinking, Sharice, I really want short term, I really want liquid, go to bankrate.com because there's money market accounts there that are offering 1%. There's CDs offering 2.5%. And also at bankrate.com, if you're thinking about refinancing your home, you could go there. They have some really great mortgage rates. There's safe products. We talk about on my radio show, indexing solutions. So depending if you said, Sharice, I don't know, it doesn't matter if you're young or old or whatever. You might say, I don't want to lose a dime with this money. I just want to earn a conservative return, like you have said. If you're willing to lock up some money for a certain amount of years and with only the availability to access 10% of it. So let's just say you have 250 in the bank and you're like, I want to put to 100,000 somewhere. You can use some of the indexing solutions out there that we offer a lot of our clients that are entering retirement. And, you know, if you put 100 grand in, you can only take $10,000 a year. So make sure, you know, you have your eggs in different baskets so you're not just stuck with just that cash. We got to have cash on the side. And so we've seen clients, you know, do some nice averages, 3.5%, 4.5%, 5.5% without any losses, without any advisor fees. I mean, it's a fantastic thing. And a lot of our clients are really digging it right now because they didn't take any losses. They don't have to worry about Sharice charging a fee to manage their money. So that could be an option. And good old stock markets. Do you get an exchange traded fund? Do you get a mutual fund? And so I have a class, it's an hour long. And if you ever want to watch it, we send it to you virtually. We will go into the nuts and bolts. What's the difference between a mutual fund and an exchange traded fund? Why should you have one versus the other? And you can really learn from that. And we'll go into the indexing solutions. We'll talk about CDs. So if you're looking for investment ideas, I talk about every investment under the sun in my 1 hour. It's called the Headwinds New Reality of Today, getting ready for retirement. And so just let us know. You can go to the website, zenniawealth.com. Just put the contact information there as well. So there was a question, does it make a difference of where to park that cash if somebody is 60 versus 80? Absolutely. So if you're 60 and you're now in retirement, or you just turn in the keys and you're going into retirement and you have plenty of income coming in, you have some extra cash, you could put that in the market. I think that's more of a one-on-one question because we're picking stocks for people that took losses that we feel have good balance sheets, great dividends. You could, you know, put it into something like that that's going to give you a dividend check for most of your life. Hopefully that's the plan. You could also put it in an indexing solutions that we offer. You can button it up and create, you know, a pension plan with it if you wanted to. That's something we help people who are nearing retirement do. So sky's the limits when you're age 60. It just depends how much cash and how much income you have and how much debt. I have to know how much debt we have and your outflow. So that's a big thing. Now, if you're 80, I literally today spoke to an 81-year-old. She said, Sharice, I have $500,000 in cash. It's one of my clients. And she said, what do I do with this money? And I said, well, you're 81. She's healthy as can be. She's probably going to outlive all of us. But I said, listen, you need cash for care. She doesn't have a long-term care policy. She doesn't really have anybody to take care of her, maybe but her sister. And I said, make sure you keep enough cash for if you need home health care or nursing home care. So when you're in your 80s, I do not recommend, I'm saying this 3 times, recommend putting your money in anything that is locking your money up for more than 2 or 3 years. Okay. If you want to earn, 1, 2, maybe possibly 3%, I would say max 3-year lockup where you can still take money out, but don't put all your money in that. Okay. So if you have 100 grand to invest, it sounds like what somebody had. I hope you have 100,000 somewhere else in cash or safe, or even if it's in the market, that if you had an emergency, you pull from that first. So it will depend. At age 80, I don't recommend you go take that money and go buy a house unless you have a son or a daughter that, you know, is into it and you guys are going to profit share. And I also don't recommend that you buy stocks at the age of 80. I mean, you have won the race. If you're living off your income and you're doing great and you're not even pulling much from your savings, or you don't have to pull a whole lot, why are we even bothering going to the market? You won the race. Let's just have a stress-free retirement. Skip all that jazz. Stop looking at the stock market and enjoy your life. And if you're just trying to get ahead and leave some money for a legacy at the age of 80 and even 60, you know, that's a estate planning subject that we can definitely tap into one day here. And we talk about it in all of our appointments in my office. And I do recommend estate planning. It's just not the income and the interest we earn, where to park our money. That's really important. And the goal is not running out of money in retirement. And that's where my forte is. But it's the ultimate distribution of your assets that's equally as important. And so we need to talk about that. So Mikey, team me up next week on estate plan. Okay, so did I answer the question? Okay. Okay. Okay, so somebody said, Mikey is actually reading me the question so I don't get distracted. So if you see me nodding my head saying, okay, I'm listening to him. We have, make sure I'm right here, Mikey. We have two people, they're married, they're getting ready to retire in 2 years, right? And then they have some money and they're wanting to know what to do it in a tax efficient manner over the next 20 years of retirement. Is that correct, Mikey? Because if they cash it in, it's only $400 a month. Okay, so it sounds like the employer is either giving you a lump sum buyout, or they're giving you an option to get an income stream for life. So just say yes or no in the question and answer, and Mikey will let me know because I want to make sure I stay on target on your question. But if that is the case, I'm going to continue. So this is the prime time. These companies who are offering you these pensions, they want out. This is why they're offering you these buyouts. So this is your opportunity to say, okay, do I take this $400 every month? And me and my husband, or just yourself, get to live on this for the rest of your life on your very last breath. And you say, I like that, Sharice. I really like that. But what I don't like is that if I die and my spouse dies and it happens within, you know, in the 11th year, this is when it happens of us collecting all this money, maybe I'm only 70, no money goes to my beneficiaries. If that bothers you, I would definitely take the lump sum and I would roll it into an IRA. And we do this all day long because people are getting tons of buyouts right now because they're nervous about their companies even having the ability to guarantee and continue to pay them, because a lot of these companies they're hard up because of what's going on in the market, and they don't even think they can keep their promises to you. So I recommend for a lot of people, I have to sit down with you and go one on this, but just off the cuff, take the buyout, possibly put it into an IRA. There's no taxes, there's no penalties on the move. And then if you say, Sharice, I really want $400 in income, how can we create that pension? Since I really like that $400, but I wanted to leave money to a beneficiary. So there's something new out there, and I call it the evolution of annuities. And so I know you're like, oh, she's talking about annuities, but all a pension is it's an annuity. A pension is an annuity. Your company says, we're giving you an annuity. It's an income stream for life. You can do that in the private world. I can do that for you. The difference is they have evolved so much that you now get an income for life. You might take a little less. You might only get 350. Maybe you don't get 400, but you know what you get? You get the opportunity to leave money to your children, your beneficiaries. Now that to me is the deal of a lifetime. So I do recommend, if you say, I want to leave money to my grandkids, I want to have a huge when I pass away trip, and all my dollars get spent on some big trip at my death, and I want to make sure everybody has $20,000 each to live on, or I want to set up a trust fund or something like that. So I'm going on a tangent, which I'm very famous for. Let me backtrack a little bit. If you want to leave money to a beneficiary, take the buyout. We can work with you. We can create a private pension, and we can give you the income stream that will last for your life and your spouse's life, and you will never run out of money. Hey, look at that. That was my first technical glitch. Hold on a minute. Looky. Always something. So if anybody saw how I was running the show today, so we had to improvise until I started getting a lot of my stuff in. See? And so I must take a picture. I'll post it on Facebook so you all can see, but it's quite funny. So my phone fell. All right. Are we still on, Mikey? It looks like I got a call for some reason. I have it on airplane mode. All right, guys. Okay, so sorry, technical glitch, and I had a phone call come through. So back on. Take the buyout if you want to leave money to your beneficiaries, and we will work on getting you as close as we can that income stream of $400 a month. We'll get it pretty close. And if you pass away early in life, we'll have money to go to your beneficiaries. Now, I'm going to tell you, you got to know this, full disclosure, if you live 30 and 40 years and we're giving you $350 a month from your pension buyout, well, you know what? You won the race, basically. You beat the odds and all the numbers. There's probably not going to be money for a beneficiary anyway. So just remember, income. It makes the world go round, and it's really important to have it. And so in my classes, and when you come in and you're sitting down with me, and right now we're doing some virtual appointments because of the world we live in with COVID-19, and we'll eventually get back to normal soon. We're showing people to put enough money and button it up in indexing solutions, safe solutions, things that won't change the way that you live as we're entering retirement or in retirement. And the rest can go in the market. So it makes sense, right? Let's make sure we have the grocery bill paid every month, the electric bill paid every month, our mortgage payment, if you still have a mortgage in retirement, paid every month. And we pay those and the gas at the gas pump. We want to lock that money in. So you're going to get Social Security in retirement. And then if you don't get a pension, I want to create you a pension. And then with whatever else you have left over, I want to create two and three, total of 4 income streams. I want 4 paychecks coming to you every month for the rest of your life. So if you're somebody young tuning in, I'm trying to help you get focused for what you have to start doing and what you have to start saving for, because every amount counts today, moving you to retirement and beyond. And the beyond is for you retirees who are already in retirement. It doesn't stop when you get your last paycheck at work. We got to keep moving. You know, planning never ends. My clients who I've had for years are so shocked with me and so pleased with me right now because, hey, let's be real. We use annuities for income planning. We use real estate for some income planning. We use stock market stocks for some planning, for dividend income planning. We use a plethora of tools for our retirees. And the moral of the story is, you have to make sure when you're entering retirement, and if you're young, hear me loud and clear, start saving now. But when you enter retirement, it is the time to get off the stock market roller coaster with a lot of your money. It's time to dial back the reins, and you have to go from accumulation to preservation, okay? You have to go from accumulation to living off your money. You worked hard, you left your job, and the stress of all that, to not have the stress of the stock market. I know there's a lot of you sitting there thinking, yeah, Sharice, well, you lost me 10% in the stock market when the market crashed. I'm like, yeah, maybe I did that. That is not my fault. And those are some of the pandemics I have no control over. But I will tell you this. We have exit strategies on all of our clients' portfolios. You know, things are looking up and looking good. We're kind of flatline right now. We moved around, became more conservative. I have had 0 complaints about that strategy. And I'm having new people coming in now talking to us saying, Sharice, how did you stay under the 15% mark when I still have a loss of 25 and 30%? And that's because you are riskier than you thought you were. And so most of my clients, I think FedEx has dropped something off. Hey, FedEx. Most of our clients, we don't have your money in the stock market. We have diversified your portfolio. So the amount that is in the stock market should not make you panic because your income is coming from the other source that you can't take losses on. So there was a time you retired and you could put all your money, 75% of your money in bonds and live off those coupon bonds and the dividends. And you would put 25% in the market for inflation. But you can't do that anymore because even bonds went down. When the market tumbled 30% in mid-March, bonds went down 10% too. So you could have had a 50-50 portfolio and 50% of your money crashed 30%. The other 50% went down 10%. Everything went down. So sometimes you just can't run and hide from these types of events and call these catastrophic events. All I know is before you retire, let's shoot for the sky. Pie is the sky, right? We can take risk, and close your eyes. Jack Bogle from Vanguard always says that. That is a true story. But when you're nearing retirement, you're in your retirement red zone. You are 5 to 10 years before retirement. It's time for you to listen up to what I'm saying, because now you have to change soon. You've been trained for 30 years to save and put your money in the market and don't sell. And now Cherise comes in, the retirement guru of the world, and says, yeah, we got to change that story now that you've turned 60. Now we're about to take Social Security. Now we got to twist it a little bit. So your brain's going this way, my brain's going this way, and we're going to bring it together so that we're kind of working. You start to really understand my message because you won the race. Those advisors out there are telling you, no, let's just keep it all. Your stock, guys, keep it in the market. You'll be fine. You'll be safe. And then you lose 30%. That's just not the way of retirement. And so I'm here to tell you that. And I went on a tangent. I know. And that's Facebook for you. So hopefully I didn't lose too many people. A couple other questions before I move forward. Okay, so I'm taking the notice. Okay, Mike, you have to repeat me. So they have a mortgage of how much? 3.99 to interest rate. Okay. Equity of 6.09. Okay. Oh, well, I'm going to say 3.99 is not bad, right? And so you can probably, if you have good credit, the 6.09, get rid of that puppy. I mean, that's what I would say. Here's the moral of the story, so I have to backtrack. If you are somebody who's getting ready to sell your house in the next 5 years, I wouldn't do it. And because when you refinance a mortgage, there's some costs involved, okay? You got these mortgage guys, they're out there to make a couple bucks too, and that's for them. And so your break-even point, most of the time, once we do the numbers, it's about 5 years. If you're not selling your house for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or longer, yes, do the refi, because if you're at 3.99, you can get that down to 3.25, and you're not selling this house for about 5 years, 10 years down the road, it's worth it. If you're just trying to refinance it and maybe sell it in 5 years, just to get some more cash in your pocket right now, because, you know, maybe we lost some savings or you're just changing life, then do it. But you have to weigh those options out. I have this conversation with almost all my clients when they're actually starting to sell. And we really do you got to do the math. So I'm all about, let's dial in, let's do the math, let's check the data, let's check it twice, and let's make sure. And so 6.09, I'm not sure what 6.09 is. You said equity was 6.09. If you have equity in your property of 50%, I mean, there's so many directions we can go here. So I'm not sure the exact question, except for mortgage interest rates 3.99, equity 6.09. Anything over 4%, hey, let's see if we can get it to 3.25%, as long as you're not selling your house in the next 5 years, okay? Because that's your breaking point. It wouldn't be worth it, really. So am I able to help with stocks over the phone, or can they come in the office? Well, normally I would say you have to come in the office, but since I have to run my company and my children, you're lucky I'm staying out of the office. So everything that we do, I do need to see you face to face. So we do Zoom virtual meetings. I will do a conference call first and talk to you first, but then I like to see who I'm talking to, who I'm working with, and kind of, you know, there's nothing like that front face to face. I want to get to know you before I'm recommending any stocks. I need to know your age, your assets, what you got going on there. So, but yeah, right now we're doing it all conference call and Zoom meeting. So no problem there. Okay, so we're going to push forward here. You guys can ask some more questions as we go. I want to showcase, if anybody who's been listening to my radio show knows I'm all about giving back and charities and local, local, local. And we're in North Central Florida, Gainesville, Ocala, the Villages, Orlando. And so I found this article here. It's about Publix. And boy, do I love Publix. Hey, by the way, Publix stock is kicking butt right now. So I hope you didn't sell too much of it earlier on. But Publix stock right now, Publix says that they're buying excess milk and produce from farmers to donate to food banks. I don't know about if you guys ever saw the article, the thing on TV where Dallas, they had lines, droves of cars, people just needing food. And here in Marion County and Alachua County, Orlando, the Villages, Lake County, it's the same thing. People need food. I was on a phone call today with one of my team members, and Steve Biondo he's a president of Tim Tebow Foundation, and he says right now it is a global mess. Nobody knew this was going to be global, Sharice. And I said, how can we help you guys out without giving you actual money? He's like, that's the dilemma. It's that people are hungry. The things that they had planned are just not going through right now. So now they're just worried about feeding people. So Publix is doing a great job making things work, getting food to the food banks locally. I mean, we have all these food banks. If you all have food, I like to talk about what are we doing good. It's just not about our pocketbooks. And I know some of us are short on cash, but I'm going to tell you it goes a long ways. What can you do to help somebody out? I was at Church of the Springs and their drive-in for the Wednesday night, and I heard from a friend of mine, and they said a friend of hers who I know lost a job, and I didn't even think to do this. I'm like, shame on me. Why? Because I do so much, but I don't think about the little things that count so much in people's lives. 2 people gave her a check just to help her with some bills, and then somebody else sent her one to her house. I mean, if you know somebody who's at a job and you have a couple of bucks, $20, put it in the mail. You don't have to tell them who it's from. I mean, donations go a long way. So if you get anything from my message today, let's help somebody this week that you know. I mailed out coffee Keurig cups to like 50 people this week, and I said, listen, whether you have a job, you don't have a job, let's add a little flavor to your life. And it has like cookie dough, and it has this and that. And so just a couple bucks out of my pocket to make somebody's day is incredible. So I love what Publix is doing. Such a great, great company. It's actually the only place I shop, thanks to Instacart, because I'm not leaving my house. Here's some really cool news. I'm reading about, unfortunately, I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't even know this company. It's Ology Bioservices, pharmaceutical company. They're in Gainesville. They got a huge grant, and they were awarded $53 million right in our back door. They issued some money. It says the Department of Defense to develop and manufacture an antibody treatment and vaccine for COVID-19 and other viral diseases. I love Gainesville. You guys are always getting some really cool stuff going on. You guys are working your butts off. You have so much going on over there at University of Florida, and North Florida hospitals and Shands. And so I just want to put a shout out. We're rooting for you guys. I'm going to be checking out your stock and see if you even have one. And that might put you on the map, if anything. And good luck. And I use our tax dollars wisely. So kudos to the Gainesville area. Hey, by the way, if you haven't noticed, my Gator, I'm a Gator fan. If you don't know who I am and what I do, Gator Nation all the way. So if you have anything you want to say about that, go ahead. And so big Gator fan. Everything I drink from is Gator, from my coffee cups to my water. This is water. I should have a water break here. Let's go on to one other thing. Okay, last fun thing that we're going to talk about before we go into, I think, Mikey, the next thing is Q&A, and we're going to sum all this up, is a cool trend that came out. It was a coffee. Mikey, can you put this up on the screen? I looked at it. I saw it. It was the biggest trend that we have seen through this whole entire social distancing. I'm going to make it this week, and I'm going to post it on Facebook. It's called the Dalgona coffee. I don't know what it is. It sounds really interesting, but it went worldwide. It went viral, and it overtook the world. And so I'm a big Starbucks fan. By the way, coffee is my life. As you can tell, I probably look jacked up on coffee, and I'm not. I'm just excited to be here with you all, if you can't tell. But here's a food trend. And so I will post the ingredients on Facebook as soon as I get time. Probably won't be till Saturday morning when I'm waking up, hanging out with the kiddos. But I was supposed to read something about it, but I can't really see what I'm doing. So do me a favor. I'll put the ingredients online. Mikey, did you get the picture up? Does anybody think this looks good? It's literally, I think I read it. It was like instant coffee, some water, some milk, and you whisk it around and you dump it in some milk and you can add some flavors to it. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. I'm probably going to mess it up, but I'm always up for trying something. What does it need, Mikey? Wait, you need confection from South Korea. I don't know. He said something about South Korea. So I guess that's where it started. Right? Okay, good. So you guys can't hear Mike behind the scenes, but if I slow down and tune out for a second, he's just telling me what I need to be telling you, which is not working out very well. But remember, this is our first time and we're working out the glitches. Any more questions about this coffee craze? Sugar, hot water, and instant coffee that you whisk to make fluffy. And do you dump, I think you dump it in some milk. Knowing me, I'm going to put some cookies and whipped cream on it too, but it looks scrumptious. So I just wanted to share a food thing. Since this is called Retirement Coffee Talk, why not start off our first segment with something about coffee? Woohoo! Okay, I think I have a question coming in. Maybe. Question. Yes. So I want to talk about, and so we're winding it down now, and I want to talk about somebody who has come in recently asking me for advice and what to do, and this kind of weighs heavy on my mind. I've had a couple of calls with him, one Zoom meeting, and he said, Cherise, I have been to seminars and restaurants. I've invested on my own. I've trusted one advisor to another advisor. He's like, I've been watching you for a while, and you seem to be pretty, upfront and honest. But I always felt like that about everybody else. And what makes you different? And, for starters, what makes me different is probably my upbringing. My father brought me up, a Marine Corps background, morals and integrity is like grounded. It's number one. When I entered this business years ago, I wanted to always do what was right for the client, not what I was told to do. And that's why I opened up my business on my own so quickly, because I was tired of people telling me what to do, because I thought there was always a better way. I always thought there was something better. And he says, people want to put me in these mutual funds or these variable annuities. And, I know it's all commissionable. And so here's the moral of the story that I had to tell him. I was like, listen, we're financial advisors. We don't do this for free. You have to interview a few of them. I always say, go interview 3 financial advisors. Find the one that's not showing you the real dog and pony show, the one that's really real, that really fits you. Some of you might be watching today and be like, okay, way too much energy. I don't know if I can keep up. I will tell you, I dial it down at the conference table. I slow it down. I educate. And I told him, when you come into my office, I'm going to stand up in front of my PowerPoint. I'm going to start really educating you. But I always ask, come to one of my classes. So anybody's listening, come to one of my classes. So he went to one of my classes online. He's like, I really like what you had to say. And so what I got from it is I want to talk to you about one thing. And so he's having more confidence moving forward. And he was very frozen with COVID-19. He wasn't sure what to do. He just has a lot of cash. And he's not sure, do I buy stocks that are on half off? Do I go into safe money and indexing strategies? And so we had a great conversation, and we're going to be moving forward here. And I just tell people, don't let what's going on freeze you. You're going to retire, okay? We can't stop the planning process. There's actually no better time than now to say, hey, Cherise, let's look at life insurance. Do I need life insurance? Can I lower my life insurance premiums? Do I need a will? Do I need a trust? Because I'm a little worried, this whole COVID-19, and what if I get sick and I die? Because maybe you're in a season of life where it's harder to recover from it. And you want to have those wills in place. Attorneys are working online, and we can help you get those done and get you in front of those people. should we be buying life insurance? Are you worried? Do you have an adult child that you have to take care of, and do you have the right trust set up? And if you're getting ready to retire here in December, I'm getting lots of calls, and they said, Sharice, I'm getting ready to retire in December, and I just lost my shorts in the market. And I called my financial advisor, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. And I asked them, can you pull back the range just a little bit? And they just said, no, just stay the course. And staying the course might have been the perfect scenario, because the market did pop back up. But I'm going to tell you, we have no certainty. If you're nearing retirement specifically, like this gentleman is getting ready to retire, this is no time to be messing around with the market. If the market crashes and you lost 30, but then it came back up, and now you've only lost 10 or 15, what if you're retiring in December? What if things just don't go the way we planned? What if we wake up November 27th and the markets go down, and now you lost 50%? Now you lost 50%, and now you're like, that's it, sell me the cash, and now you lost half of your portfolio. I would rather you sell now, lose 15%, than wait till you lose 50 if that were to happen. Remember, full disclosure, we don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but the writing's on the wall, and I'm very optimistic that it does pull back. Not pull back. We don't want the pullback. We want to go forward. And it's just, there's so many unknowns. You have to protect your personal economy. Don't be listening to your neighbor Bubba. Don't be listening to your Aunt Sally down the road. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. Make sure you're not going alone, and get a structure in place. Do some data. Listen, do some math. It's simple stuff, because I do it every day. And so the guy just like, man, Sharice, you are passionate. I can see that. And back to the story, I had other clients said, Sharice, you didn't tell me this is part of the package. So I'm going back to another story, because I did go on a tangent. And they said, Sharice, we lost 10%. I said, that's okay. You know what? The market's going to come back. We've dialed back the range. We've made some moves so that, we'll just wait for that to come back. And they had plenty of safe money. But I said, listen, let's carve a little piece off this Zinnia table. And I'm going to do this for free. It could be a 50,000 or 100,000. I'm like, let's buy some of these stocks that I feel that have good dividends, have good balance sheets, that could possibly, we can earn our monies back in the next 2 to 5 years. And, it's a little risk. The market could come down, but this is the money. This is our long-term bucket, the one we're not going to touch for a long time. But you're going to be really happy, because we're not going to charge you fees. And, this is the time for boutique firms like myself to shine. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the availability to give back to my clients. And the markets will come back, and we'll make that money back too. So that's a cool thing. And that was my tangent number 3 for the hour. and I'm going to leave it at that. So I don't. Yeah, so let's go ahead and close it out, unless I see a couple more questions coming in. We want to encourage people to tell your friends to tune in every Thursday right here at 3:30. I'm going to bring up another topic. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the markets. I'm going to do my best to get you to retirement and beyond. And my first job is to educate you. I want to educate you. I want to inspire you any way that I can. And again, get you to retirement and beyond, because that is my sole goal, is to be the retirement guru and be that face and be that person you can trust that will do the right thing for you. We are fiduciaries in my office. We have offices in Orlando, Gainesville, Beverly Hills, Marion County, and we're moving into the villages right now. And who knows, maybe we'll be coming your way down the road. Okay, Judy said my book is a required read. Is that the... Okay, I have a couple of books. I have a green book, a white book, a red book. What color book is it for starters? I'm sure it's my white book. Mikey's going to get back to me on that. So I do have a couple of books. And there's one, if you are near retirement, you're in your retirement red zone. It's my white book. It's called Stress-Free Retirement. If anybody, go to zinniawealth.com. You can request it. We will send it to you in the mail for free. Okay. I'd be happy to do that. And it kind of gets the setting in place. It gives you stories and imagery about what to expect and to compare some of these safe products and CDs and the stock markets and taxes and Social Security. And it's conceptual. So there might be some people out there that say, hey, Sharice, I'm just not really up to date and I'm not really good with finances. This book is for you. I'm talking to you. What was that, Mikey? White book. That's the white book. Okay, that's the stress-free retirement book. So it is and she said it was a required read. It must be a client of mine. I have a couple of clients with that name. But one thing, I educate, but I give you homework. So before you dive into certain things in investments, I'm going to have you read about it because I want you to be on the same page. I don't expect you to know everything I know, but I want you to. I'm expecting you to ask me some right questions before we do anything with you. So it takes a couple of appointments. We want to educate, we want to inspire, and we want you to be successful when you get to retirement, because the retirement dream is all about being stress-free and making sure you have that paycheck coming in every week. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I love the questions. I feel like we had a successful Facebook Live event, and that will generate new and fun ideas and keep me inspired to do this every week. And I hope I do this forever. I didn't take any time out of my day to really do this except for this hour. And tune in. If you want a second opinion, if you're thinking, Cherise, you might be a client of mine and you want to tune up some things, you're seeing some things, give us a call. You know how to get a hold of us, 833-368-3680, or just find us on zenniawealth.com. Listen to me on my radio shows every Saturday and Sunday. I even have a podcast. Sign up for our weekly blog. In our weekly blogs, we'll show you our TV segments. You'll even get our radio show in the weekly blog and what we're doing next and that kind of stuff. And so if you want a second opinion, go to zenniawealth.com on what you're doing and download the Little Red Book to Retirement, because that's free. And you'll get some really great information and kind of get your whistle wet. And again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you here next week, 3:30. Tell your friends. I hope you enjoyed it, and share what you thought about this Facebook. If you said, you can comment on here and say, hey, Cherise, maybe next time can you talk about this? I would love to hear from you. It's like, Cherise, I didn't like it. Be gentle. You can hurt my feelings, okay? I am kind of soft when it comes to that. If you don't like me, just don't comment. Just don't watch me anymore, right? So be kind. We need to be a kind community. All right, thanks again. Share your comments, and this will be posted, and all of our streams will always be on Facebook. All right, thanks so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget, think of somebody that needs some money, needs some help, might need some coffee, and give, even when we need to receive. And I promise something will come of it. Okay, live by design, not by default, and we'll see you here next week.